So apparently PirateSoftware tried to get this man fired, but I gotta be honest with y'all, at this point, I'm not even surprised. This man is a champion of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Not a fan of that. It's one of those things that I've been trying to fight my entire career. It's one of the things that I've had to argue with people in chat about. It's one of the things that we ban people for here. Anytime people say shit like that, because it's deeply disrespectful and it completely overwrites any of the things that I've done throughout my career.
Bro, you said career twice in like 5 seconds. Wait, was it like 7 years at Blizzard or something? I don't know. He never mentions that, so I can't really remember.
Something that is somebody else's success, which they have not been in any possible respect. What do you say? In the thing, he said it was, he called me a Nepo baby. In his article. No, that's...
He called him a Nepo baby in his article, and that's why he was mad. Bro, it's true. You are. And don't get me wrong, well, I'm not gonna say it's okay to be a Nepo baby. It's kind of just what happens in real life, and it happens all the time, so I'm kind of used to it, and I guess I kind of got numb to it as well. But you are a Nepo baby. Everyone knows that your father was a big shot at Blizzard at its own right, but at the same time, he did set you up with a nice job. So, I mean, yeah, you are a Nepo baby by definition. You can't really run away from it. Just own it.
Dog shit behavior. Really gross.
All right. Hello, Internet.
Oh, that's the guy.
My name is Stephen A. Sarge, and I have been a digital culture journalist for the past decade. I've written at Newsweek,
What the
Business
hell is
Insider,
that? Yeah, let me move myself so you can see the caption. What the hell is a digital culture journalist? Are we making up titles now?
Complex, and more notably today, Mashable. I have basically spent my past decade in the digital culture journalism space. And I've finally made the decision to move over to YouTube and start posting here where people actually care. For years, people have been ripping off my content and making money off of it. So I've decided that maybe I should make some of that money myself. And
now you can have roaches like me reacting to your videos. Great. Truly, the cycle of life. Amazing.
Over what story I kind of wanted to talk about for my first one. There was one creator that I had a very weird experience with that has basically like entrenched itself in my lore.
Dog shit behavior.
It was just a story that ended up snowballing its way out of control out of a very controversial creator that I think people just kind of want to know about. So I thought for my first YouTube video.
Wait, is PirateSoftware controversial? I think at this point he's just hated. Like, he's a lolcow. I don't think he's... Yeah, he passed the threshold of being controversial. I don't think that's the case anymore.
I should talk about my experience with PirateSoftware and how he tried to get me fired. So we have to go back to 2024. I was a freelancer for the past few years, and I got invited to a convention called Open Source. Now, Open Source is an absolutely amazing convention, started by William Osman, who basically created the modern weird DIY trend that we see today. I brought out my now fiance, and we just saw everything that Open Source had to offer, from robotic tables that walked on their own to Furbies with 4 different legs.
Asmongold can use that.
When you sat on it, it would either be really happy that you're pooping on it or very sad that you were doing it.
Get away from me! What are you doing? Wait, no, stop, turn it around.
Guys, do you think we've gone too far? I mean, if you show whatever the hell we have today to a person from 100 years ago, damn, they would have annihilated society. What the hell are we doing?
So, when I got that
we
invite,
evolved, I don't know.
was super duper excited. And I was reached out to by this PR woman, let's call her Jay, who's representing Open Source, and invited me to moderate a panel. I've done some panel moderation in the past, but for the most part, it's not really my thing. I'm a little neurotic, a little scared, you know, being in front of that many people that really cared. But when someone invites me to do a panel, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do it. The panel consisted of PirateSoftware, Code Bullet, Luke Muscat, and Jabrils. I had seen some of Code Bullet in the past, but The name that obviously attracted me was PirateSoftware. Now, over the 6 months prior to open source was PirateSoftware, Jason Thorshall ascent into YouTube superstardom. He had kind of used the same technique that Andrew Tate did, where he would flood the market with shorts that YouTube was kind of prioritizing, and his channel blew up. He gained millions of subs.
That's true. It was crazy. I think he was kind of the short king for a certain period of time. I mean, even my shorts that didn't even relate to anything that he was saying, they reached me, man. Like, his shorts were crazy, and I watched some of them, and some of them were good. Like, I gotta admit it, they were fairly sensible at the time. But now watching this with retrospect, you realize his cadence was so condescending. God damn, like, how didn't I pay attention to it back in the day, right? I just thought he was very well assured of himself, which I guess technically is correct, but at the same time, now you know, it was all vanity. But, you know, watching stuff in retrospect, hindsight is 120, right?
He became well known. He was doing deals with Ludwig.
He saw a lot of success
with it. He went from a relatively unknown game designer into one of the most successful gaming YouTubers that we've had on the entire platform. So obviously, I wanted to chat with him. And the panel itself went great. We first met up. You know, I talked with all of these creators. They were all so kind. I have nothing but great things to say about it. Code Bullet is like become one of my favorite creators. He's so good at what he does. So I went to open source with the intent of finding an article to pitch and then get published. I had a few editors who were interested in stories, but I knew you basically have to get the interview first before you can sell it. So after I did the panel, I approached Jason Thorshall, PirateSoftware, and I asked him, hey, would you be down for an interview? And
of course he would.
More than happy.
Yeah.
He is super.
What a surprise. What a surprise. A man with an ego so inflated would never turn off an interview. Like, never. Never, brother. It's so obvious. The chance for him to even get a tinge more of publicity, he would never skip on that. It's so obvious.
We're down to talk about whatever. And I remember we sit on this couch and we start talking.
The casting
now, I know
couch,
a lot
nice.
of people think that PirateSoftware's like deep, angsty voice
Oh,
is something
he's
that
gonna
he
call
kind
him
of
out.
like makes up for the camera. But I will say, when talking to him in person, he just talks like that. That's just who he seems to be.
Ooh, because he fakes his voice in real life too. You can see, literally, guys, I spoke about this with you so many times in the past. Like, there's so many receipts that he fakes his voice. It's so obvious, for the love of God. I mean, it's so cringe because you can literally watch interviews of him. Not interviews, just videos of him from years back. And he sounds so completely different. Now, I know that he has this excuse of, oh, I just had a second puberty. Brother, no one believes that crap, okay? No doctor would ever confirm this. The second puberty can happen under very specific conditions. It can't happen out of the blue. It just doesn't happen, okay? No one believes that. And now, basically what he does is just simply, like, he's talking like this. Like, I can do that. It's okay. Everyone can do that. And it's so funny because I have a high-pitched voice myself. And people tell me that my voice don't fit the way that I look. And I laugh at it because it's funny. Like, dog, you have a high-pitched voice. Just chill. It's okay. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. It's just so cringe that he even fakes his voice to sound more authoritarian. It's God, oh my God. Even talking about this makes me kind of mad. It's just ridiculous.
Could that be a persona from his EVE Online furry days? Sure, that's possible.
Persona.
But I don't think that's what I experienced. Like, during the conversation, I'm giggling because he's a charming guy.
Were you a ferret guy?
No, I've lived in California. They're illegal here, so I was like, when I moved to Washington, I was like, I'm getting fair.
Hilarious. Holy shit, that was so funny, bro. Wow.
Talk about his ferrets,
I'm dying
that he's
here.
helping out, how his channel blew up, how he first got into contact with Ludwig. He is basically like showing me that, oh yeah, this is why he has blown up to the way he does. He is so good at talking and so good at chatting. The whole thing kind of starts off with him saying something interesting.
All right. If I could just get your name and channel for the recording.
Sure. My name is Thor, and my channel is PirateSoftware.
And I know you spieled up there, but you mind just giving me a little how you got into the game development space?
Yeah,
Say
so I actually started when I was 16. I got my first job from nepotism, which is not the way you want it to be. So my dad worked at Blizzard. I ended up going
Damn, that's crazy. He said it on record too. I mean, you can't delete that. You literally said that. It's so crazy. He actually even used the term nepotism. So you self-admit, you self-reported. You are a Nepo baby. How can you claim otherwise when they literally have you on record? How dumb can you be to even do that? It's crazy, man. These people would go to any length to lie, and everyone has the receipts. It's baffling. How can you even not follow up on your lies and do it properly? It's just weird.
to Blizzard, worked as a game tester, and I was shit at it. Yeah, it's completely awful. And I realized how awful I was, so after my 6 months doing that, I left. I went freelance for 5 years.
Did you hear that? He says that he got his first job through nepotism. Now, that'll come up really important later. I end up getting the article approved at Mashable, a website I've written for a few times in the past. They told me they wanted something uncontroversial, something simple, because there really wasn't an article about PirateSoftware. There was very little information about PirateSoftware during his ascent. I found it difficult to find articles and find...
All the information came out after his downfall, and oh boy, was it glorious. The goop walls and the fursuits, yeah, all of that, it was insane.
Information about him outside of the world, but...
Weird substance on the walls.
I persisted. I did what I could. I get the article approved, it goes through Mashable, and everything's okay. I send the article in, and my editor, who is a very close friend of mine, flags, in the first few paragraphs or so, I mentioned that PirateSoftware is a Nepo baby, that his dad got him his first job at Blizzard. And because of that, he was able to start his career and then eventually go back to Blizzard and do all of these other things.
And so Mashable.com, when they made this article about PirateSoftware titled How Streamer PirateSoftware Gained Nearly 2 million subs in 6 months, they just had to mention the fact that he's a Nepo baby, saying when he was 16, he landed a dream job as a game tester at Blizzard Entertainment, which, before the bloated loot boxes and corporate acquisition by Microsoft for $68.7 billion, was considered one of the most respected companies in the video game industry. It helped that he was a Nepo baby, since his dad, Joey Ray Hall, had spent over 2 decades at the industry titan since almost the very beginning. Now, of course, after 6 months, he would leave because he felt that the corporate life wasn't for him, and many years later would reapply by himself without the help of his dad, landing a QA role, which I believe, because if he had the help of his dad, no way he...
By the way, it's not even that his father, literally helped him, it's the fact that they knew that you were his son that helped you get in. That's the reason. You don't need your father to explicitly tell some manager, hey, please accept my kid. No, they already know that you're his son because you were there previously, and they're just gonna let you waltz in and do whatever you want.
Would end up in
That's
an
how it works.
position.
And Nepo baby,
it goes unsaying.
I have learned since, has a very negative connotation to it. For every Jack Quaid that manages to take his familial success and turn it into a career that isn't just ripping off their family's legacy, you get a bunch of Kardashians that basically are just using their name to get as far as they can without really accomplishing much in the world. I just thought it was a good term to describe PirateSoftware. I didn't expect it to blow up into what it eventually happened. The article comes out on July 9th, 2024, and I'm not thinking much of it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm happy with it. The intro picture's really nice. All of it's really cool. But a few hours after it comes out, I start getting really weird messages. They're saying, how dare I say that about PirateSoftware? I'm gonna get canceled. Journalism is over. My editor messages me. Oh no, what is happening? She starts getting sent stuff because I mentioned her in the original tweet. Ooh. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And I get sent this clip from PirateSoftware's stream where he is so pissed off at the article. I don't know what to do because on one hand, he is 100% a Nepo baby. He got his first job through his dad's connections at Blizzard.
But that's not all. His dad was Joey Ray Hall. This picture right here is of 10 people. And if you don't know who they are, these people happen to be the original founders of Blizzard Entertainment. Yes, these guys...
Damn, look how happy Mike Morheim was. That's crazy. Man, nowadays, yeah, I think he's just sad. He lost all hope. It's insane. What the hell?
Are legends in every sense of the word, and the guy in the middle is none other than Jason Thorhall's father.
And that's fine. There is nothing wrong with being a Nepo baby. Let me make that clear. Being a Nepo baby is fine. You know, as long as you're able to use your skills and move past the, you know, sticky stigma that exists along with it, you'll be okay. But to me, it kind of seemed like PirateSoftware had a bit of a chip on his shoulder and was a bit upset when people would call him out for it. And me calling him out Nepo baby and basically the only article that existed about him really seemed to piss him off.
It's rock a
But
nerve.
still, just them including the sentence calling him a Nepo baby truly triggered him beyond belief. I mean, look at what he had to say.
Yeah, really not a fan of that. Not a fan.
Later that night, I get a text message from Jay, the PR woman from OpenSauce, who basically tells me on a call that PirateSoftware wants me banned from OpenSauce, and he wants me to issue an apology while removing Nepo Baby from the article. Immediately.
Then tell him to give proof that he wasn't. That's it. Problem solved. Just tell him, okay, then give me one proof that you're not a Nepo baby. Like, how did he even justify that? I don't understand. Like, everyone knows that he's a Nepo baby. How would you even try to go around and say otherwise? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even know how people supported this. It's just insanity. Bro, like, that's literally crazy.
Am like, I don't know, but I want the harassment to end. I want all of these people who are screaming in my mentions that I'm a terrible journalist and that I'm going to be out of a job, and how dare I say it, because PirateSoftware still had a huge fan base at that point, and they wanted me canceled. They wanted me done. But I just wanted to, you know, I wanted to make the voices stop. I wanted to make the hate stop. Eventually I decide, after talking to my editor and, you know, thinking over quite a bit, that
don't tell me you took it down.
You know, PirateSoftware was using the hatred that gamers have for journalists to fuel his own ego and get Nepo Baby removed from the article. Like, games journalists, you know, since the dawn of Gamergate, games journalists are seen as bad. I wasn't really covering games, I was more just being a journalist, but it didn't matter. I was still part of that stigma, and he was using that anger and vitriol against me, and there was nothing I could really do other than get the article changed and take out Nepo Baby and issue an apology and bend the knee.
Man.
But as a journalist,
wait, did you do it?
You really have to hold truth to power. You have to make sure that when bullies try to send mean things to you, and they try to use their audiences to sway coverage in ways that make them feel better, you don't bend the knee.
W. Absolutely W. Well done. Well done. I'm glad. It seems like he never took that interview. Great. Perfect. Because now you reap the rewards. Now, after the entire house of cards he built completely fell apart, you're a winner. And that's why you get to cash in on the prize. Because you waited patiently. You knew that this man's downfall would eventually come. Because this man cannot hold a W. He can only take L's after L's. He's collecting them like Infinity Stones. Believe me, I watched. Now, it's kind of crazy that PirateSoftware, who mostly 99% of the time agrees with all the gaming journalists because they talk about the same crap that he's trying to push, like the weird narrative and agenda that he has. Now he disagreed with the 1% journalist that just mentioned he was a Nepo baby. The entire article was fine. It's just that one thing that made him angry. And it's so crazy because he wanted to send people after this guy and make sure he's being bombarded with messages online telling him to, like, do horrible stuff and obviously pressure him into taking down the review, or at the very least just change it. At the interview, sorry. Or at the very least just change it. And it's so stupid because that's what these people do every day. That's how they're trying to win against you. That's why when I made Ashes of Creation, I don't know, you call it hate videos. It wasn't hate videos. I was just criticizing the game because I believed it was a scam. Lo and behold, I was right. But at the time, when I first started making them, people always flamed me in the comments. They always hurled profanities towards me. And they bombed my videos. But it was fine. I kept on going because I knew that one day it was all going to blow up. And I did not expect it to be this soon, to be honest with you all. I thought it was going to be like 5 years from now. But at the same time, I knew I was right. So I'm glad this man did the same. Because you can't cave into the pressure. You can't give these people what they want. If you do that, they'll continue on this war path. And it will never end. We need to put our foot in the sand and say enough. Like, we're not gonna be bullied into submission by these people. It's stupid. We know that we're right, so let's just stop it.
You don't fall into what they want. So after, a bunch of conversations with my editor in the article and everything that happened, I decided, no way in hell, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna change the article. And he was still very pissed, for months after. Every time he would show up, I'd be terrified that he would come back and come for me, that I'd get another wave of harassment, that I would just kind of be screwed in the grand scheme of things. But eventually he died down. He had wave after wave of cancellation.
God bless.
I'm not gonna lie. When he got semi-canceled for how he responded in his World of Warcraft guild, I felt a little giddy. I definitely jumped on a live stream and kind of talked about my experience. In the story, I called him a Nepo baby.
Man, this was such a great time to be a content creator. Jesus, man, I kind of missed out on that. That's so unfortunate. I did some other things, but I watched all of this unfold, and oh my, it was fire. The content was endless. It was like so many people waited in the shadows to have their opportunity to just completely trash on him because they had so much information nobody else had, and they just waited. They lurked in the shadows for the right moment to strike. And oh boy, they have.
I stand by the fact that he is. He got his first job at Blizzard because of his dad. Qualifies as a Nepo baby, in my opinion. And he didn't like that, so he read it on stream, said my story was full of factual inaccuracies, and sent his fan base after me and made my social media hell for a week.
Well, that's interesting.
As a digital culture journalist, it can be hard to cover creators. Creators don't really like when people talk about them. They want to have coverage because that's how they get verified on social media accounts. But for the most part, they kind of hate having that animosity and that lens put on them. Clavicular.
Then they shouldn't do it. Guys, if you put yourself out there, there's a price. Of course, you're gonna be criticized. Again, it's the same when I make videos. Right now, I'm nobody, so literally nobody cares. But I criticize a lot of people, and some of the people I criticize actually comment on my videos because they see them. And yeah, I mean, some of them react pretty well, some of them don't. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because you put yourself out there. You need to understand that once you do that, you are opened to be criticized, and that's okay. People have made videos about me. I was criticized, and that was totally fine. I made a video responding to that. It's okay. It is what it is. You need to accept it. You can't reap all the rewards of, I don't want to call it fame. It's not fame. It's cringe. Nobody cares about us. Content creators are literal nobodies. But, I mean, you need to accept the fact that, yeah, many people watch you, and some of them are going to criticize you. It is what it is. You can't take the good without the bad.
Can get a New York Times profile, but the average influencer really doesn't talk with journalists.
Isn't it the American Psycho guy? I think I saw him. I saw a video about him. With the car, with the cyber car. Yeah, I remember that.
Actually, we agreed to do one small edit on the article, changing one of the years on the Kickstarter. But the article itself still stands. If you want to look up, I will link it in the description, because I think people should kind of see what happens.
Imagine if we changed the article and edited it every time he said PirateSoftware in the article to Nepo baby. Damn. That would have been good. That would have been absolutely dope.
And in general, what did I kind of learn from this experience?
Don't talk with PirateSoftware.
I no longer let creators bully me around. If I am receiving massive waves of harassment, like when I wrote about Mr. Beast and the Beast games having unsafe workplace conditions, and I'm getting hatred from all of his fans, I just kind of have to accept it for what it is. I'm not going to bow to them. I'm not going to change the way I do things because of the harassment I receive online. Though that can be hard and very difficult, It's something that I really care about. I guess what I want everyone to know is that when you talk to creators, they are not infallible. They are just regular people who are upset when you call them Nepo baby if they really hate it.
Dude, never flash an interview of Keemstar in front of my face again. Shame on you. I tried to forget him. Man, but if you guys weren't around when YouTube was completely on Keemstar's ass, oh boy, it was so good. It was so good. He used to be the internet villain. But now they're just swapping around. Keemstar actually held that title for a few good years. Nobody managed to do that. Nobody managed to win him, right? I think every time after that, like, the villains constantly swapped. They switched places. No. Like, Keemstar was the one. He held the longest L. It's crazy.
But yeah, that's my PirateSoftware story. This is my first video. I'd really love, feedback. Tell me what you hate, what you like. Is my camera good? Give me some feedback. I want to keep doing this. I think YouTube is the future of content. My industry is dead, so I might as well come here.
And you know what? It's good. It's good that he died. Gaming journalism is literally useless. Nobody cares about that anymore. Nobody. And to be honest, your colleagues, what caused it? I mean, I literally watched an IGN review about Where Winds Meet. They gave the game a 6. Based of nothing that can actually be considered genuine, cordial thought. Nothing. Okay? Like, literally, no opinion of this guy was valid. So, I just guess it is what it is. And we had years of this. This is obviously one example, right? We had years of bad press and gaming journalists just trying to waltz into our world and trying to tell us that what we think is wrong. Yeah, we're not going to accept it anymore. So, it's good that you actually stopped that and came to YouTube. Now you can have your own opinion and grow your own audience. I definitely like this video. I'm going to leave this man a like. Very good video. Obviously, got a link in the description. You can guys watch it for yourself. But it's funny. It's funny. It was a pretty simple video. I thought there was going to be way more to that. But at the same time, it doesn't surprise me. He said one thing that PirateSoftware didn't like, and he sent his rabid audience to just harass this man online. What a shameful guy. Holy, it's so bad. I'm so glad that he lost everything. And he even went down from 2 million subs to like 1 million, right? Not that it's a very... very little amount of subs, but still, like, nobody watches his videos anymore. So yeah, pretty much killed his own channel. So you know what, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was a good video.